Morning, welcome back to the show. We have a little boot display here brought into the studio. And this is Jimbo of Precision Ski.
Morning,
sir. Yeah, good to see you.
No
hey,
doubt.
It's always mustache march for this guy. Looking good for springtime.
Mustache every month, you know.
Have you been getting on the hill, enjoying some of the snow we've had?
Yeah, for sure. I was out yesterday. What
Yeah.
a beautiful day.
Yeah.
I mean, this time of year, you got to love it, you know. Sun, a little fresh
And also
snow.
this time of year, especially if you live here, you've had probably a good number of days out on the slopes.
Yeah, absolutely. And this time of year, you know, maybe you've got some boot issues that start to show up. And there's some things to know about boots, you know. In fact, sometimes, you know, you never know what you'll find out about boots. For example, just, hey, putting boots on.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people
a
do
task,
it
right?
differently. You know, if you think about your foot's wedge shaped. You know, it's narrow at the heel and wide at the forefoot.
Sure.
So when you put your boot on, a lot of times people tend to buckle these boot buckles first. You know, you start at the end and work your way up.
Right.
But really, you do probably better to buckle the top boots and just lightly. And then if you flex in the boot, it pushes your heel into the back of the boot.
Got it.
And then you're seated in the boot. If you tend to close these buckles off snug when you first get in, it makes it difficult for your foot to get into
The same
back
can
of
even
the boot.
be said about snowboarding when you're working with those bindings. Make sure
Yeah,
you do
for
that
sure.
big strap first.
And you know, another thing that's great about getting into a boot is a feature that's a lot of today's boots called a walk or tour mode.
Nice.
You know, it's a feature that let's see if I can loosen this.
Yeah, it'll
up.
take some of the actual walking to, but you'd see. I mean, I see the flex that what you're talking about.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
You know, make you feel like more of a
What
have
it
a
does
natural
is
walk.
it loosens
Yeah.
the upper cuff here. I can show you. Makes it
There it is.
possible to walk. Also, really opens the throat of the boot up and makes it possible to get in and
Put the
out
boot
of
on
the boot
easier.
much more easily.
Great.
And another good function about this this mechanic here is if you flip that up, and then when you're in the lift line, it allows you to stand in a more vertical stance, and your body's weight rests on
great.
your skeletal system rather than on your muscles.
That's a very good point. I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
That
so
just- you can go into
so
hike mode in the lift
it's a
line.
great feature on a lot of today's boots. And you know, I'm always surprised when we've got customers in our store and they say, "Gee, I didn't know my boots did that."
Right.
You know,
So
so
a
there's
lot of features on boots.
yeah, there's a lot of things. You know, even just getting into the boot, there's a material called Slide On. It's a spray. You just spray it into your boot a little bit like that.
Okay.
And
Is it a
it's good for
silicone
about-
base or something like that?
Yeah,
that
it's friendly
basically like
on
a
the
lubricant?
fabric, so it
Okay.
doesn't do anything to the liner, but it makes the boot very, very slippery to get in and out of.
I've not seen this kind of product before.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
neat.
called
Very
Slide
cool.
On.
Okay, Slide On.
You know, and this time of year, it's imperative, you know, to just pay attention to how your boots fit.
Right.
You know, and after you've been in them for a few months, sometimes boots tend to loosen up. So you know what everyone does is starts to tighten up on the buckles. You know, and
Right.
moving from one catch position on the buckle to the next position. That's a giant step in terms of the volume that
Sure.
your foot has to survive inside the boot.
Right.
There's a lot of buckles that have what's called micro adjust here. And some buckles don't have it, some do. Some that do can get frozen just due to the chemistry that's in the snow and whatnot. And it makes it difficult, or you don't even think that can turn. So what you could easily do would be to take a little oil and drop it right in the throat of each of the buckles, and that will loosen things up and allow you to use the micro adjustable feature. In addition to micro, a lot of boots have what's called macro, and macro is an adjustment here.
Oh, wow.
You can see this buckle slides out
Sure.
to accommodate somebody that has a bigger lower leg, a larger calf, or if you have your ski boots inside, or you can just open up the boot a little bit and it makes walking more easy.
Nice.
So a lot
great
of
little
boots
feature
have different features here that
Yeah.
allow that buckle
Yeah,
to
see that
to
that one's
slide.
pretty intense right there. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
yeah,
one look
yeah.
like quite like that.
You know, there's lots of adjustments on boots that people do not understand.
A lot of different things you can kind of fine tune with and make sure you get that comfort fit.
There's a feature on the back that
All right.
has to do with how flexible the boot is,
Really?
how easily the boot bends. Sometimes it just says lock or plus or minus, and it's hard to establish, do you tighten or loosen this?
Right.
You know, so if it's called a stiffness adjustment, a plus would mean
More stiff.
more stiff. If it's called a flexibility adjustment,
Okay.
plus would mean more flexible. So, you know, sometimes you have to read the instructions on your boot
Right,
to see
take a look at
how to
what-
adjust some of these,
Good
these
to know, though,
features
yeah.
in the back, you know. Also, along with taking care of your
A little
boots,
wear and tear.
yeah. Most of the boots today have replaceable toe and heel pads.
Uh-huh.
You can get they come in all different shapes and sizes depending on your boot. So you can get replacement heel and toe pads for, you know, $15-20 a piece. It makes it easier to walk, first of all, and makes it way easier for you to get into your bindings if
That's
these
gonna be
areas
critical.
aren't
If you can't get
worn.
in your bindings, what good is your boot?
Yeah, exactly. You know, so there's a lot of things that you can do on your boots to
On
to
the
help
boot
them
itself, yeah, but
fit
then even
better.
just to help out outside the boot.
One of the things that people don't even think about is the difference that socks make.
Yeah.
You know, when I start the season, my boots always feel a little bit snug. You know, I've got
Sure.
summer feet, and you start into the early part of the season, and I usually go with a thinner sock. But by this time of year, my boots have kind of loosened up. You know, the planet's getting warmer. My feet are more used to being in the boots, and to go with a little bit thicker sock can take up some of the space and give you a snugger fit. Along with every type of pad and adaptive piece of material can be applied to the outside of a liner once a boot starts to pack out and feel loose.
Just be
So-
aware of what your foot's doing because you can
Yeah,
add
there's-
insoles, you can add adjustments, and things that you can do also over at Precision Ski because you guys are very knowledgeable. And I was really disappointed that you weren't here last week at Jimbo, actually, because I did talk you up a little bit, but I had some family friends come in from Florida, and it's just one of those stories that, you know, they were, maybe I just need new boots because they're not comfortable. I don't want them anymore. I want to buy brand new boots.
Yeah.
That could be an expense right there. That's you know, more like an investment kind of cost.
It is.
So there was an individual at the shop, really helped him out, and he said, just show me how you put on your boot every day. I want to see what you do. He put on 2 pairs of socks, had a liner on it. Of course it's not going to feel good. And, the staff over at Precision was able to help him and just say, you know what, this boot is great. Just put it on, wear it, and just wear it properly, and you're going to be all right.
Exactly.
So they wound up still buying other things, getting a helmet and getting ready for the hill, all the things that you're going to be able to find at Precision.
And you know, you
find that
mentioned,
knowledge as well.
insoles. That's a key ingredient to boot fit, whether it's to try to make the boot feel snugger or looser. In that when you know what comes in a boot is a insole like this. This is from, I think, the Salomon boot. It's fairly cheesy. You know, there's no support or anything going on there. To get a custom-made insole or an insole that's considered a trim-to-fit insole, you know what it does is it gives your foot a contour to stand on.
Absolutely.
And you don't
Get that
have to
comfort
buckle
fit.
the boot,
Yep.
the buckles as tightly to hold your foot and keep it from moving around. So it helps in that regard if the boot's roomy.
Yeah.
And if the boot's a little bit snug, if you put some support beneath your arch, makes your foot a little bit
Get that
smaller,
comfort
and
on
you'll
the
be
hill,
able
guys.
to fit into the boot.
And
with a
again,
little
Precision
more
Ski
room.
is located right on Summit Boulevard in Frisco, across the street from Walmart. You'll be able to find all of these kind of tips and a whole lot more. Get ready for the winter. Keep yourself ready for the winter season. Also, ask about this thing when you go in there. But we got to go. We're running out of time. Jimbo.
Okay.
Always a pleasure to see you coming in here. But seriously, when you go in there, ask about what the heck that is. Pretty cool stuff. Jimbo, I hope to see you again next week. Have a great weekend as well.
Thanks, you too.
And happy
Enjoy
St.
the
Patty's
snow.
Day. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to take a break. Be back with more Sun Sunrise on this Saturday morning.